A shut down heart, therefore, becomes stagnant water, and stagnant water produces built up contamination. I learned this lesson a couple years ago when I had a planter that was given to me by a friend. I didn't pay close attention to it, and unfortunately, it did not have any drainage holes. But a couple weeks later, every time I entered my home, I smelled this horrific smell. For days, I could not figure out where that smell was coming from. Until one day, everything clicked. I pulled that planter out to my driveway, tipped it over, and lo and behold, all of this nasty water came out of that thing. If you have never smelled stagnant water that is just sitting there, it is one of the worst smells you've ever smelled, because water in its nature is designed to flow. And like anything, when we go against the design, it produces dysfunction and death. According to our designer, Love himself, our heart was designed to have streams of flowing water. Like running water, there's rivers inside this heart. And rivers are made to flow. When the heart shuts down, the springs don't stop existing, they stop flowing. But when pain entered our heart, we experienced an injustice, we experienced a wound. That wound communicated a break in trust. Connection of any form without trust leads to self-protection. When your heart becomes hardened because of pain, darkness has an opportunity to enter where love is no longer received. The language of pain hidden beneath our wounds sounds like this: no one will ever hurt me again. I am alone, therefore I make up the rules. I was unprotected before, therefore I will control. What I thought was love wounded me, therefore anything that looks similar to that, I have to run away. What if every behavior has a story, and every story has a wound that carries the language of pain? Because the behaviors we often judge are the survival strategies of a wounded heart. Religion looks at behavior, but Jesus looks at the heart. Religion often establishes a formula. Jesus has established relationship and connection. God originally designed our hearts to be filled with life, truth, presence, connection, and meaning. But just like a lake or a river, there is a larger body of water from which it is flowing from. And God has designed our hearts to be connected to his ocean of love. Apart from that connection, we are striving for our own formula of significance, meaning, relationships, and connection. All of us desire a place to belong, and all of us truly desire intimacy. Intimacy. Many of us did not just experience painful moments. We learn to interpret those moments through shame. Pain says, something happened to me. Shame whispers, something is wrong with me. Shame's primary goal is disconnection from relationships. And when shame becomes the language of the heart, fear becomes its protector. Shame does not stay contained in one heart. It reproduces itself until someone interrupts the cycle. The people that wounded you from their own wounds were trapped in cycles of shame. The patterns and the behaviors that you hate that you do is cycles of shame. But here's what we are introducing in this series. Jesus, the Good Shepherd, listens to the heart. That means that Jesus, the Good Shepherd, removes shame by restoring relationship. Once safety is restored in a relationship, shame loses its voice. Fear no longer has a place to guard, and the heart begins to trust again. Matthew chapter 12, verses 43 through 45 shows us that an empty house is not a safe house. Jesus goes on to explain that if you remove all the demons from this house, but don't fill it back up, those demons will come back in and invite more of their friends. Why? Unless a house is occupied, then something tries to come and fill in the void. The same is with our heart. Our hearts were designed by and for love. But when pain comes in, fear comes in with it to fill in the void. So when the heart closes off, darkness replaces connection. A heart shut down by shame becomes managed, controlled, functional, but uninhabited by love. Something always seeks to occupy what love vacated. What happens when the darkness comes in is we withdraw from the light, from the truth. It is essentially survival without intimacy. But survival without intimacy is not life. Sin, darkness, bondage, strongholds offer counterfeit intimacy. Control instead of trust, secrecy instead of safety, self-pleasure instead of presence. Sin or darkness enters where love is no longer received. The darkness offers a deception. Darkness knows that you really were created by and for love, and that is what your heart longs for. But darkness is always trying to separate you from who and what you were created for. Jesus says in John chapter 15, verse 4, remain in me. Abide in me means make your home in my love. But remaining requires openness, not running. And our cycles of shame produce cycles of running. Shame shuts down the heart, and where love no longer flows, the darkness always offers a substitute. You don't need to shut your heart down to stay holy. You need to stay inhabited by love. I'm going to break down this word, sin. The primary word for sin in Hebrew is shatah. That means to miss the mark. It's failing to live according to the purpose for which something was created for. Sin is essentially missing the mark that God intended for you. And whether you are aware of it or not, when you are missing the mark, the soul is aware, and you end up feeling defeated and hating yourself. Sin is much deeper than behavior. At its root, sin is departure from God's design and his life and flow of love for us to receive. It's choosing independence from the one who is life. Most people are carrying around unresolved pain and grief. They are leaning on a crutch or a cane, walking with an emotional limp, just trying to get by. That is not the abundant life that Jesus has planned for you. What happened to you was not your fault. The wounds of others wound others, and our wounds wound others. But even though you could not choose what happened to you, every single person has to choose what they do with it. This entire series was born out of my own personal journey of learning to forgive someone very significant in my life who wounded me deeply. Because unfortunately, they never chose to heal from their own wounds. As I walked with the shepherd through my own healing, he began to show me something that I had never seen before. The pain, the bondage, the way that this person treated me was not the beginning of their story. It was evidence of a long war raging inside of them, and I was simply caught in the crossfires. He is no longer here on earth. When I grieve his life now, it is not that he would be back here on earth in the same form as he lived all of his life. I grieve that he lived a life marked by wounds more than love. I grieve that he never experienced the fullness that God had intended for him. I grieve all that was stolen, all that remained unhealed, and all that could have been. Only if his heart had stopped running and he allowed the author of love to love him again. As I began to see him through the shepherd's eyes, something unexpected happened. My questions began to change. Instead of asking, how could someone do this to me? I found myself asking, What happened to your heart? This poem was born from that question. I wish I would have known you without your pain. If I could talk to you now, here is what I would say. I would have given anything to rescue you from the silence you endured. I wish the weight of your memories did not crush you. I wish the weight of yesterday had never convinced you that tomorrow could not be different. I wish the memories you carried had not become chains around your heart. I wish you had the opportunity to walk this life without a broken heart, to live life fully instead of the baggage you carried. I wish I had known the pieces long ago that made you the man that you were. Fragments of a story left scattered and buried. I wish I could tell you that now I see that you were fighting a war within yourself, and I was simply caught in the crossfires. I wish you could have let love heal your story. What sorrow found you first before it ever rejected me? What wound taught you that strength meant silence, protection meant control, and survival meant hiding? I watched pain become your voice. I watched grief disguised as anger. I watched fear build walls so high that it seemed too overwhelming for you to climb. There was no room for safety. There was no room for rest. And somewhere beneath the weight of it all was a man I wish I could have known, because I believe you are always more than your pain. And that is the greatest tragedy, that unhealed wounds become so loud they drown out the music that God placed inside your soul. Pain was never meant to become our identity. The door to your pain was meant to become an invitation to be seen, to be known, to be held and covered by love himself. It was an invitation to stop running and to finally come home. And perhaps when I grieve this, I grieve the years that you walked here in this life in extreme pain. You tried to control people and circumstances because you felt out of control, when all along you were already loved. You didn't have to reach for or fight for validation from imperfect, wounded people themselves. I would have given anything if I could have fought the darkness on your behalf. But the hardest thing in life to accept is that we cannot go into another person's darkness. We don't have the keys or access to the gates of their heart. We can love, we can pray, we can listen to them, but the dark rooms have to be opened by you. And love himself is the only one with the key. If I could talk to you today, I would say, love has redeemed the darkness of your story, not only in heaven, but here on earth. For love still sends out an invitation, a sealed envelope addressed to hearts that simply asks, will you let me in? Will you choose life? But choosing life is often a lonely road. It means walking where others refuse to not walk. It means walking where others refuse to go. It means telling the truth where silence once lived. It means refusing to pass on what was passed on to us. Some of us are labeled the black sheep because we refused to pretend, because somewhere someone had to take a stand. because we are the ones standing and saying, this generational pain ends with me. One person had to tell the truth. Someone had to stand for the truth. One person had to choose what the generations before them never did. And so we say, this ends with me. The silence ends with me. The shame ends with me. The fear ends with me. The anger ends with me. The hiding ends with me. Because the grace of God has shown me another way. I didn't escape the fire. I walked through it. And by His mercy, I outlasted it. May those who come after me inherit freedom instead of fear. May they inherit blessings instead of burdens. May they know what it feels like to be safe, to be seen, to be known fully, to be loved. This is where the story changes. This is where generational healing begins. This ends with me, and love wins again.